Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please?
Covering both sides of the big issues with the analysis you trust on News Radio 1040 WHO.
Americans kind of worried that AI will make things worse. There are some that think AI will make things better, and I suspect our guest, the AI expert, Matt Rosen, is one of them. Hi, Matt. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on the show this evening.
You are very welcome. So is AI going to make our lives better or worse?
So I'm an optimist, so I believe AI is going to make our lives a lot better. I think there's a lot AI can do for us, from helping us cure diseases that were previously uncurable, taking over lots of mundane and repetitive tasks, really helping us be more creative and taking on a lot of the work that, frankly, humans don't want to do. But it comes with negatives as well. There's going to be a shift in jobs, like there always is with every technological change, but I err more to the side of the positive than the negative.
Are you worried that these are going to become our robot masters?
I am not. They're going to be our robot assistants. I don't know if you've played with ChatGPT or Gemini. These are the models that are out there today. They can make things a lot easier for you.
No, I won't go anywhere near those websites. Nope. And look, I'm being serious now, okay? I'm an early adopter. I had a car phone, right, installed in my car before we got those phones that are very, very smart now. I was one of the very first people to have a car phone. I was the first person that I knew that had a Mac back in the 80s, right? I'm an early adopter. I won't go anywhere near this stuff. And one of the main reasons is Elon Musk is scared of it, and he has the biggest brain on the planet.
He definitely has a big brain. A big ego as well, but I'm a big fan of what he's done. These things, like anything else, need to be regulated. They need to be checked on. They need to have lots of diverse thought in it to prevent bias. But when I look at what AI can do, I use it on a daily basis. It helps me craft emails, helps me put together presentations, helps me brainstorm new ideas, and be a lot more creative than starting with a blank sheet of paper. So I would say next time you want to figure out what to put on a radio show, you just ask ChatGPT, give you 20 great ideas, and one of them might actually be pretty good. The other 19 will probably be trash.
Yeah, but I enjoy doing that. So
I do as well.
I don't need some machine to tell me what to put on the radio. so there's that. Have you?
Long enough, you got lots of good ideas.
Have you seen the movie I, Robot?
I have. It's been a while.
Okay. Have you seen any of the Terminator movies?
All of them.
All of them. So, and you're still not worried that these are going to become our robot masters?
No. In those movies, robots became sentient beings where they were aware of themselves. That's not the case with what we're dealing with today. What we're dealing with today are models that have fed lots of information. They can help you automate tasks. They can help you identify trends, and they can create content. But what they can't do is recognize that they are a machine and that we are beneath them. So I, for one, am not worried about Skynet taking over, planes falling from the skies, or any of the like.
Now, of course, the guy responsible for Google's AI, he said, excuse me, this is sentient. And then they canned him. And it's interesting. It's interesting why they canned him, though, isn't it? Do you know why they canned him?
I don't. Do you?
Yes. They canned him because they said he was giving away company secrets.
Interesting.
Isn't it?
Definitely interesting.
Very interesting. I don't know if this happened, of course.
I'll be back.
But something happened. Something happened. I don't know if it was that, but something happened.
Well, I can't speak to what happened.
No, of course you can't.
The guys Googled, but we're seeing a lot of productivity gains where we're using it. We're helping a lot of our clients figure out what it means to their businesses. And like every technological change, people are scared of it. People are like, what is it going to do? When e-commerce came out, they're like, oh, there won't be retail stores. Retail stores have shrunk, but there's still retail stores everywhere. But heck, it's really nice to get on Amazon and order things and have a bunch of stuff show up at the door without having to go shopping. But every new technology trend has its positives and its negatives. But the negatives do need to be managed, and there needs to be some regulation around it. And you're seeing that happen right now in Congress.
Okay, so let's talk about that. How can you regulate this?
There's a number of ways. I mean, you need to have a lot of diverse thought going into it. You need to restrict how and when it can be used. You need to restrict, the types of, at what age do we start letting kids use it? I want my kids to learn how to do math. I want them to learn how to read. I don't want the robot to teach them. My kids aren't allowed to use it till they're in sixth grade, and they're going to use it very carefully.
Mm-hmm.
But like every technology, we have some students that are actually writing papers from it, and it's pretty easy to get caught. I mean, there was some lawyers that cited a bunch of different cases that didn't exist. So there will need to be some management and oversight of it, just like every other technology, just like everything else we have out there. It can be managed, but it definitely is springing up everywhere, and so it's going to take some thought and know-how, and there's going to be a lot of jobs just thinking about how do we regulate it, how do we make sure it gets the right information, and how do we make sure it doesn't take us down some dark paths.
Now, of course, there's so much of my audio out there, right, that an AI could be developed that sounds identical to me and isn't me and can say things I would never say. That we're in that world now, right? But they can also do it.
We're getting close.
But we can also do that with video, and we can also do that to somebody who may want to be president of the United States 2 days before the election.
Yeah, it's scary. So there are some negatives to it, and so one of the ideas I have is around digitally stamping a lot of the information that comes out of AI, so that it was AI generated. The model makers haven't taken that step yet, but I think that's something that needs to be seriously considered. So where when the model produces something, it has a digital watermark. Those can obviously be removed, but I think there needs to be a lot of investigation into that space. What we're trying to do is help organizations figure out how do they use AI, how do they manage it, where do they plug it in, where should they not plug it in. And it's going to take a lot of smart people to figure out how to really regulate it and use it for good and not for bad.
We're talking to Matt Rosen. He is an AI expert, and we need a bunch of them right now, for sure. I'm an AI skeptic, and it's not because I'm a Luddite. I'm not somebody that pushes technology away. Quite the reverse, in actual fact. Why it bothers me is because it bothers Elon Musk. For real. That's really why it bothers me. And I do think he has the biggest brain on the planet. And the fact that he's scared of it, that should give us all pause, shouldn't it?
He incorporates AI into his cars, into his spaceships and everything else. So he hasn't stopped using it. It's here. We're not going to be able to avoid it. So the best thing we can do is wrap our minds around it, understand it, get trained in it, so that we can use the technology for good and not for bad.
Okay.
And that's why.
What? Fine. What technology? Where are we going to be 10 years from now? What do you think, technologically speaking? Elon Musk has said jobs will be like hobbies. What do you think?
I still think there's going to be a lot of jobs. It does scare me because I run a professional services organization.
Sure.
We write a lot of custom code for people. These tools are starting to write code of their own. But I'll tell you, I wouldn't take the code that one of the models generated and put it in an airplane. I wouldn't get on that airplane. I'd be scared because the code can't think of all the aspects that it needs to. It's good at doing self-directed tasks, but it's not good at thinking about systems in a way that humans do. And so I think humans are always going to have jobs. And I believe that these AIs are going to be like our mini assistants or analysts that can help us do, more, be more productive, be more creative. But for those that do the same repetitive job over and over, those things are at risk. But they've always been at risk with every industrial revolution.
Sure, absolutely, totally agree with you. Final question: in the next 10 years or even 20 years, do you think they will be sentient?
I don't think so. I think we've got another 50 to 100 years, but that's my opinion. I'm excited about what's happening with nanotechnology. That's going to be an interesting one. As you have small, robots that could do all sorts of really interesting things. I think it'll bring a lot of innovation to healthcare. I think it'll make our lives a lot better. I think that's what's the next trend. I think that's the next one, but I think that's another 10 to 20 years away. But I, for one, am not worried about humans becoming sentient and taking over the world and starting Skynet and Terminator and all those things. I think those things are fun to think about. I don't think that's where the world's headed. And, we're positioning ourselves to really help organizations understand AI, what it's good at, what it's not good at, and really help them plan for the future.
All right. Well, Matt, thank you very much. I know you stepped away from an event. I really appreciate it. AllATA, ALLATA.com. That's how you find out more about Matt Rosen. Thank you very much. You'll be back, and you're not alone, by the way.
I'll be back.
He's coming back too. Matt, thanks very much.